Here. Take a look at them. Okay, we have 10 sentences here. The phrasal verbs are underlined. Okay. Remember that phrasal verbs are employed for spoken discourse. Okay. We usually use them, for writing. But if we want to achieve high register and academic language when writing, well, we should instead use a different verb for achieving formality, of course. But let's face it, for everyday communication, for real communication, phrasal verbs are just there, just like bad words or idioms or slang or, local knowledge. Let's say it's going to be present when communicating. Um, it's important to know them, but it's also important for us language learners, you're studying a BA in languages, to know the formal way to refer to the phrasal verb so that you can express what you want to and speak up your mind in a natural manner. This is developing metalinguistic skills because you will be able to discriminate when to use phrasal verbs, when to use the formal language, what is high register, what is low register, and you're constantly making decisions on the words you want to use. It's also important to remember that both grammar and vocabulary learning include this three-dimensional framework we have been shedding light on since the beginning of the presentations, which is form. Okay, form refers to whether phonetics, the pronunciation, or spelling, or how to collocate words. That is form. Basically, it refers to structure. Plus, we have meaning. What the meaning is, what the words mean, and the different meanings that the word can have, But not only are you gonna go for translation skills and knowing synonyms or antonyms, or learning the present simple tense and then the present continuous. No, it's that you also need to go for the third dimension, which is when and how to use the word, when and how to use the structure, the construction. The scholars might refer to it as a construction, whether you want to use it with your mother or with your brother, or in Mexico or in the United States or in South Carolina or in Exeter in England or in Southampton. And of course you need to be aware of the situation, a specific situation to use a word, a phrasal verb, a semi-fixed phrase, or any construction that is going to be helpful for you to express what you want to. So we have three different domains that are constantly working, and that's why we decided to focus on language for strategies and for learning styles. Okay, well, we have an example here. Let's start. It's gonna be very fast. We took on 3 new members of staff and they all turned up late on the first day. Well, if you can remember, we explored these phrasal verbs last week, okay? Try to find the phrasal verb turn up here. It's at the end, at the bottom, here, arrive. So arrive might be the formal word for the phrasal verb pronoun. Let's try with the second one, okay? Let's say Diana. Diana, are you there? Diana Dawson. I think it's Diana Dawson. No, well, she's asleep, right? Well, don't worry. Well, maybe what about maybe Patricia? What about Pat? Are you there, Patricia? Please, please, Patricia. No, she's not here. Well, Jose. Jose is here, right? Yeah, Jose. No? Jose Martinez is not here? What is going on today? Oh my God. Well, what about Jimena? Yeah, Jimena, I saw you there. You're there.
Yes, teacher.
Can you read number 2?
Yes, the results were broken down into 4 groups.
What would be a formal word for the phrasal verb breakdown?
Divided.
Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Breakdown. Okay, breakdown. Here you have different meanings. Huh? One of the dimensions for learning words and grammar. Fail and categorize. Categorize, of course, lies on the answer you provided with. Divided, right? The results were categorized, divided, organized into 4 groups. Very well. Good job. Please, a volunteer for reading number 3. Anybody who wants to help me? While I
Me,
will. Okay, thank you.
we must cut down on our expenses.
Okay, Camila, thank you. Cut down. Do you have any idea of a formal word for cut down?
Mm,
Reduce.
Reduce. That's right, reduce.
refuse. Oh,
Reduce. Okay. And check, another important thing. Reduced. Pronunciation is part of the form of a word. If you want to become competent at the language, you need to as well. It's not the same to say reduce than to say reduced. You barely listen to the difference, I know, but it makes impact on your level of English, especially when you go and you try to certify your language. So when you're learning words, grammar, vocabulary, and you're working on listening, speaking, even reading and writing, you need to go and make sure you look for the correct pronunciation of a word. And this could be a very good example. Check this out. Regular verbs in past simple tense. Okay, so you have 3 different sounds and extra syllable, such as started, or decided, right? But you have verbs such as missed or cooked, or you have verbs such as learned is not, is learned, okay, or laughed or played. So you have this form not only about writing ED, but also focusing on pronunciation. So phonetics is also part of your strategies for developing competence and the competences required for proper pronunciation. Okay, well, it was just a good rule of thumb. Next, number 4, the destruction of the rainforest has brought about environmental damage. What would be one formal word for the phrasal verb bring about?
You could say has provoked.
Provoked. That's right. Provoked. There are certain rules, regarding this pronunciation stuff I was referring to. Yeah, you can create your rules, and you usually start acknowledging patterns at the very moment you need to explain how things should be done. Okay, you are students now, you're learning the language, you're developing the language, but eventually you will transmit, well, strategies, knowledge, activities, tasks for other people to learn the language. Most of you will. And you need to start developing patterns so that you can include them, in your speech, in your tasks, in your learning style, but towards a teaching style. Okay, and you will see, well, okay, when you have a verb with double S, you go for the T sound, or when you have a vowel sound and then you have a D at the end, you go for the D sound. When you have a verb ending with T or D, you have to add an extra syllable, etc. So you start creating patterns, yeah, you explore them, you compare, you practice them, and then you are able to develop this meta-linguistic skill, okay, which is also a strategy we need to activate. Next, the first edition came out in 2000. Came out. Do we have any formal verb for the phrasal verb come out?
Release.
Released could be, yeah, perfect. Also, to use the verb to be using passive voice. The first edition was published. Next, we found out that the new equipment cost £2,000, £500. Find out. Well, we have. Anybody?
We knew.
Discover.
Well, Camila, maybe, yeah, it's not the same meaning, to find out and know have
We
a different
realized.
meaning. Sorry?
We realized.
Realized, yeah, that could be one, realized or discover, right? Figure out, but figure out is another phrasal verb. Next, it took a long time to get hold of the supplier. What could be one formal verb for the phrasal verb get hold of? Does anybody know? Get hold of. It has got different meanings. Contact, acquire. Which one do you think is referring to? Contact or acquire?
Contact.
Okay, yeah. Took a long time to get hold of the supplier. Think it twice. You need to include these 10 sentences in your dynamics in class, okay? Please make sure you include them and you upload them in the corresponding folder. Then you have breakdown, getting, and turn up again with a different meaning, okay? Please include these 10 sentences in your dynamics in class. Then you have the opposite. Okay, you have the formal word for you to use phrasal verbs in a more natural way. Decreased, went down, continue, went on, approved, disconnected, increased, design, constitute, deactivated, compensate, make up for, confuse, mix up. Please change the formal words for phrasal verbs. The phrasal verbs can be found here, okay? Here you have the phrasal verbs. That's going to be included in the dynamics in class as well, okay? Good. Now, I'm going to change presentation. Does anybody have a question? No?
No.
Questions? Thank you for your answer. Thank you. I'm not alone, right? Let me know if you can see the presentation. Can you? Yeah. Yep. Can you see the presentation? Students?
The 10
Yes.
sentences.
We're looking at the 10 sentences, yeah.
Ah, the sentences? No, no.
Uh-huh. No, we can look the presentation.
Okay, sorry. Wait.
It's a video.
No, no, no. It's another PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
I will share it. No, no. This is not. Hold on. Wait a sec. Please give me a sec. I'm working really fast here. Wait. Doesn't seem to be here. Ah, well, it's here. Oh, hold on. Oh, should have been here. Hold on, please. It's loading. Oh, well, technology constraints, right? Well, story of my life. Well, I moved and I'm trying out a different internet, which is Telmex. Doesn't seem to be working very efficiently, honestly, but that's the only option I had. That's why we're facing some constraints. It's loading, 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 loading. Oh, this is so slow. Uh-oh. Supposed to be loading. There it goes. Screw it up. Had already opened the file, but closed the window. Well, anyways, here you go. There's this one. This one. Doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. I'm trying hard, eh? Just be patient. Okay, we'll try it again. Ah, finally. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Why is it important to know minimal pairs, phrasal verbs, and idioms, and vocabulary and grammar? Well, and to work on listening, reading, writing, speaking, whether productive or receptive skills. Well, basically, because we want to explore the three different dimensions I mentioned, and also because we want to express ourselves, we want to produce meaning, we want to provide with meaning, we want others to understand what we have to say, and we want to hear others' voices as well. So this is what we learned at the beginning of reading and writing, even in mother tongue. If you can remember your Spanish courses, uh, providing with messages and receiving messages in order to be understood and for others to understand your speech. And this is almost, the main characteristic of us, when we want to learn from others, whether by reading or by listening to them or hearing people or sharing with others, is because it's our human nature and because we want to connect. We want this almost spiritual connection. Some philosophers might refer to us, but language is a paramount, and language is, society and culture and local knowledge, and all these varieties of language make up what we should aim at when learning languages, to understand different ways of thinking and to understand a different system to get to that point. Okay, that's why language learners should be systematic. It's not that you're going to be organized and you're going to follow the same procedures and steps, because everybody's different. Every single student has got different characteristics, learning styles, representations, conceptualizations, categorizations. But in the end, you build up your very own way to approach the system, okay? And as a result, you become systematic. And once you become systematic, well, you're likely to become a successful language learner. In order to understand the varieties of language, yeah, and understanding what language really is and how you might be impacted by learning an L2 or an L3, how you start dreaming of the language, and you recognize the differences in systems, in constructions, but also in understanding and ways of thinking. Well, your perception of things suddenly changes, and you start recognizing the so-called cultural diversity and a cross-cultural communication when you discriminate accent, and you also understand what those elements produce, you know, in countries, in people, and in emotions as well. Let's start with idioms. You already have a definition. Remember that an idiom is an expression or even a word whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words it contains. Well, when you find isolated words, they're usually slang, okay? But idioms are more fixed or semi-fixed expressions, phrases. Example of an idiom could be a you know, couch, which means sofa, and potato or potato, which is a vegetable, right? If you put it together, such as couch potato, well, the meaning changes dramatically, right? Because a couch potato is a very lazy person who watches TV at all times. That's the meaning of a couch potato, you know? You're such a couch potato. That means you're so lazy and you love there being lying on your couch watching TV, watching telly all the time. So the structure of an idiom is fixed. There's some research on idioms, by the way, you know, which states that we foreign language learners tend to modify idioms because of interferences with the L1. And because of different reasons, of course, you know, it's important to know that because we are learning, right? And we must recognize the way we learn. But there is this other idiom such as it's raining cats and dogs. The structure needs to follow this line. However, you know, there might be some people who learn it and then eventually change it. It's learning dogs and cats. It usually happens, you know, it usually happens for foreign language learners. And the meaning stays, you know, because nowadays there is more consciousness about, you know, language learning and language acquisition and cultural diversity. Of course, English native speakers will recognize that the collocation is wrong. But they will even, you know, naturalize, you know, the structure in a different way, you know, just because a bunch of people start using the idiom in that way. It's a very interesting phenomenon, you know, very interesting because it sheds light on the fact that there is more sensibility and sensitivity towards language learning and cultural diversity, you know. In the past, you know, when we had this prescriptive approach for languages, this would have been highlighted as a mistake, a terrible mistake, you know. Not anymore, you know, language evolves, language changes constantly, and thought does too, you know. Culture changes as well, and we're suffering changes at all times this day and age, you know. This is a turning point in human history, you know. Everything changes constantly, and we criticize constantly, which is very important. And of course, language is influence, you know. Well, however, on a daily basis, when we communicate with people, well, we usually use the traditional form of idioms, and that's, you know, really helpful, of course, for your language. If you make a mistake regarding idioms in a certification exam, for example, well, it's gonna be penalized, of course, it's gonna be punished, So that's why we need to read a lot. We need to look for comprehensible input for us. It's difficult, you know, but we sometimes listen to idioms and we try to infer the meaning, you know, we try to guess what the people were implying. And that's another strategy we could use for idioms, which is very complex because they are not literal. We need to guess and we need to infer. But there are certain things we can use, you know, as an advantage, such as observation skills, analysis of the situation, analysis of the context, the setting, the environment, the tone of voice, the pitch, the pace. Those elements are going to be helpful for getting to know the meaning, the real meaning of the idiom, the real meaning of words. Another example I could provide with is once in a blue moon. We know the meaning of a moon, you know, the moon is there in the sky, you know, in the evening, night. Blue is a color. However, if you put it together, it means seldom, very rarely, once in a blue moon. It doesn't really help you understand the idiom if you're only familiar with the meaning of the individual words. That's why you need to go for chunks of the language, you know, chunks of the language, which means instead of learning the verb to go, well, you go and learn go home, you know, go crazy, go bananas, right? Go mad, go on. You learn chunks of language and not isolated words, which is a lexical approach for learning. Slang, on the other hand, are words and expressions that only certain groups of people use and understand. The youth, for example, the elderly, or people in a neighborhood, or people at school. So it's actually a selection of words that they can only understand, that can be only understood by a group of people, or used. Maybe everybody understands that. Yeah, for example, if you go to Liverpool and then you go to Manchester, you will be able to understand the slang of the different neighborhoods, but you don't use them, you know. So whether use or meaning could make difference regarding slang and the words, you know, we're trying to refer to. We have an example here. Teenagers use words that their parents do not. Adults don't use these words because they don't understand them or because slang is not appropriate in a lot of contexts. You're making decisions all the time. Remember, if you're talking to your father, you're going to use certain words. But if you're talking to your sister or to your brother, you use different words and you make decisions according to the situation. Slang words are often words that mean something else in everyday English. For example, unreal. And check the intonation, the stress, the pace, the tone of voice do make a difference. Unreal usually means not real, right? Topic. But as a slang, and according to the intonation used by young people, it means fantastic, you know, or American people would say awesome, or British people would say brilliant. But it depends a lot on how to use the word. So situations are unique, and you need to start recognizing situations by means of looking for comprehensible input and interaction online. You know, we have this resource online. First, well, second piece of homework, okay. Investigate both idioms and slang, even bad words, because bad words are part of communication, you know, they are part of everyday language. Yeah, let's face the music, that's the way it is. Bad words are part of the language. They are not taught at school, of course, because we learn in academic language, right? But if you go abroad, you need to be prepared. You need to know it, you know, because it's part of communication. Again, you make decisions and you decide when and where to use the words, okay? So you start developing this strategy, this ability. That's gonna be your homework. Now, I want you to watch the following video. Yeah, it's very short. It's gonna be 1 minute long. And after watching the video, answer these questions. What happened? Why did this happen? And how can you avoid doing the same? Think of the strategies we have been subconsciously working on. Okay, it's not explicitly that I'm saying you're using metacognitive strategies and direct and indirect and cognitive and social. No, we haven't checked the taxonomy, we haven't checked the name, you know, the technical name of the strategies, but you have been working with such strategies subconsciously. So how can you avoid doing the same? How can you avoid making those mistakes? Let's watch a video. Pay attention, please. Pay attention. There it goes.
The Italian man who went to Malta. One a day I'm going to Malta to big hotel. In the morning I go down to eat a breakfast. I tell a waitress I want 2 pieces of toast. She brings me only 1 piece. I tell her I want 2 pieces. She say go to the toilet. I say you no understand, I want to piss on my plate. She say you better no piss on the plate, you son of a bitch. I don't even know the lady and she calling me a son of a bitch. Later, I go to eat at a bigger restaurant. The waitress brings me a spoon and a knife, but no fork. I tell her I wanted a fork. She tell me everyone you want a fork. I tell her you no understand, I want a fork on the table. She say you better not fork on the table, you son of a bitch. So I go back to my room in a hotel, and there is no sheets on the bed. They tell me to go to the toilet. I say, you don't understand, I want a sheet on my bed. He said,
Uh-oh, it's loading. Hold on. Oh, my internet connection. Everything was working well. Uh-oh. But anyways. No, it's loading. Well, I will face those problems from now on, you know, because I have a different internet connection here. I used to have Megacable. It was good. But now I have this infinitum bloody internet. Ah, well, anyways. was this? Well, you watch most of the video. It was about to finish. Hold on. Sixth. Okay. So what happened in the video? Why did that happen? And how can you avoid making the same mistakes? Communication constraints, of course, right? Can anybody help me? Can anybody share your their thoughts? Are you there, guys? Ah, yes.
Well, I saw this guy was having issues to communicate because of his accent. This guy has a weird accent and nobody like understood what the thing he was trying to say. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Alfredo. Well, yeah, okay, the accent was strong, right? Because he was Italian, right? He was Italian. Italian people have got lots of problems with developing accent abilities, but not only accent. It was about pronunciation. Okay.
Pronunciation.
Yeah, well, it's not the same to say shit than to say shit, right? For example, sorry, right? Uh, or beach, right? You know, so this is a matter of pronunciation rather than, you know, the strong accent we all understand that French people, for example, have got lots of problems with pronunciation, or Italian, even Spanish people, you know. But you know, the pronunciation of certain words change the meaning that the person wanted to provide with dramatically. And this was impolite, right? It was not it was lacking courtesy, you know, completely. And there was this communication constraint, you know, communication problem. Um, how can you avoid making the same mistakes? Well, you need to work on your pronunciation, right? You now have the International Phonetic Alphabet at your disposal. You also have the opportunity to work with minimal pairs and focus on pronunciation, symptomatic drills or paradigmatic drills. Or you could use different words to express what you want to express, because you have phrasal verbs or you have formal words. Okay. So you have a bunch of strategies in order to interact and to provide with meaning and avoid making those mistakes. Of course, we're learning and developing language, and we make mistakes at the very moment of communicating. Real life is quite different, you know. I still remember when I first went abroad, you know, too many years ago, and I made a lot of mistakes, you know. But that's the only way for you to learn, you know, when you face reality and when you become aware of your own mistakes and you accept the fact that you will make mistakes, because that's the way it is. Now, regarding accent, well, you can continue with your own accent. You know, I met a lot of people who are from Brazil. You know, they live here in Mexico, and they have lived in Mexico for more than 20 years, and they still have this Portuguese accent, you know. Uh, you know, are you there? Ah, yeah. Who go from Monterrey to Mexico City, and they switch the code very easily. You know, they start speaking like know, oh, I came back. Sorry, that's my internet. Oh my gosh. I have to do something, but I don't know what, you know. The thing is that I'm in a new neighborhood and it's far away from the city center. And there's no option but Telmex or Dish. And that's why, you know, I will face a lot of problems. Well, I was referring to people, you know, who are able to develop this ability of accent, you know. I still remember when I went to England, every single neighborhood has got a different accent. It's just incredible, you know, and it's a source of pride, you know. So they take care of their accent, you know. Some of them have this a different tone of voice in Exeter, and then if you go, let's say, to Southampton, they change completely, or in, even in Scotland, you know, Edinburgh, you know, or different countries around. So it's not about developing accent, but achieving a standard pronunciation, standard English, so that you can be understood. I have a Mexican accent, you know, for example, my accent is Mexican. The moment I go abroad and I live for about 3 or 4 months in a different country with different people and I have to interact with them, well, my accent changes a bit. It does, but this is an unconscious a process that you don't do it in purpose. If you can, well, you are quite talented, right? But you can continue with your accent because you will be Mexican forever, right? Um, but you can work on your pronunciation so that you can achieve this standard way of producing sounds. Let's continue with the presentation. I think that are you able to see the presentation? Are you?
We are seeing the Italian man who went to Malta.
But the PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. Okay. Now, there is this other video. There is this other video that I want you to watch. Okay. It's a funny one. Yeah, it's a funny one. It's just to shed light on the natural differences. Okay. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. Yeah, hopefully we can watch it. We still have time, so be patient. I'm gonna share with you now a different window. This one. Let me check if it works. Ah, yeah, it does. Oh, it's gonna be very slow. Well, let's forget about it. I'll tell you what, I have a better idea. Yeah. You could watch the videos there by your own, you know, instead of projecting them. I don't know if they are on YouTube, but they should. I'm gonna explain that to you. Just wait a sec. Here. Uh-oh. No, doesn't seem to be working. Well, I will share the links. I will share the links with you. Just one last try. Here and here. It was working effectively, but not anymore. There it goes. Finally.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
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 No. Let's break it down. I
I
would
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 weird
would
would
like
like
to
toi
to
toi toi
buy
B
buy
B B
a
A
hamburger
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 burger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
It's not Damburger, hamburger.
I'm not saying dimburger. I said I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy the hamburger.
Hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Maybe we should stop.
We don't quit. We do not quit. Again.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy the burger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
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 Okay, there you have, yeah. Problems, yeah. What kinds of problems did they face?
The pronunciation of hamburger.
Yeah,
He
that
said
is right.
hamburger.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he was French, right? They usually have different vowel sounds, and those vowel sounds will make it harder to get familiar with the English ones. You know, remember that in English we have about 15 vowel sounds, and in Spanish, for example, we have only 5. And our body, you know, our mouth, our tongue, our teeth, palate, even the throat and stomach are built, you know, through years in order to produce Spanish. What can we do in order to produce different sounds? Well, we need to work with our muscles. We work them out, we move, we gesticulate, we overreact so that they can be awake. It's natural because we have been speaking Spanish during our entire life, and the moment we need to produce different sounds, well, our body does not respond, right? But this is what we can do about it. We need to work out, we need to practice, right? Now, I'm gonna share with you another video. I want you to watch the following video, and it's on cultural diversity. Try to focus on 4 strategies that the speaker suggests following on cultural diversity, and then we have a discussion. It's going to be for about 2 minutes long, okay? Let me know if you can listen to it.
We cannot hear it.
We don't listen.
Can you hear it?
Yes,
No?
we can hear you, but the video we can't.
Ah, but you can listen to it.
No, we can't
No,
listen.
no.
No?
No, the video sounds is off.
Oh, let me try to fix it then. I will try to fix it. I'm gonna do it here.
So, for instance, in some cultures, they communicate by not giving eye contact, and that's considered as a sign of respect. In other cultures, to give eye contact means you're giving attention. So it's just acknowledging that people do communicate in a different way. Cultural diversity covers a number of differences. So when we're talking about differences in relation to behavior, attitude, differences in relation to values, to beliefs, gender differences, status differences. So there are a number of differences that would then come under the umbrella of cultural diversity. There are 4 tips that you could consider when you're interacting with somebody who is from a different cultural background to you. So the first tip I would suggest is using your observation skills. Observe how they're behaving, observe how they're interacting with you, observe their body language, and as far as possible, try and mirror and match the body language. So in some cultures, people like to sit and lean forward when they're interacting. And if you lean back, it's giving a message that you're not interested, which they would consider as an insult. So if you match how the other person is behaving, then the rapport will be building, and then you can then move on to the common areas that are there for the points of discussion. So that's tip number 1. The second tip is appreciate differences. Some cultures do behave very, very differently, which in other cultures would be considered as derogatory or insulting. So, for instance, if you go to India, timekeeping is not so important. People are fairly laid back, and they are not as bothered about timekeeping. If you go to Switzerland, as an example, if you're a minute late, it's considered as a real insult. So just be aware that there are differences in what's expected and in styles of communication. So appreciate differences. Another example I can give to you is in Northern Europe, people would communicate by giving facts. In Italy, people would communicate by sharing a lot of emotions. In Japan, people communicate by building harmony. And in India, people would communicate by asking about families. Okay, so when you're talking in culture, it's about being adaptable so if I was interacting with somebody from Northern Europe, I would think, oh, well, they're just going to ask me about facts and figures rather than asking me about personal life. And I would then adapt myself to accommodate what their needs are. The third tip, which is really important, is don't assume that because that person represents that country, that he or she is going to behave like everybody else. It's about respecting the individual concerned. So they would be behaving and interacting with you, which is about their personal values and beliefs. So it's about respecting the individual concerned. And the last tip is about patience, fundamentally. I was interacting with somebody from southern India in English, and when I'd said to him, how are you? A very simple question. In UK, the response would be, I'm fine, how are you? Whereas in some parts of the world, they'll give you 20 sentences to explain how they are, which in UK, that would be covered in 2 sentences. So cultural diversity is also about being patient, that their style of communicating may take longer than what you're used to, and it's just about persevering through those patients. Cultural diversity fundamentally is about acknowledging differences, and it's about respecting those differences. Their behavior, their values, their beliefs is done in a different way to you. It's not meant in a disrespectful way, it's just how different people behave in different circumstances.
Okay, there you have it. There you have. So, well, as you can see, what cultural diversity is about, respecting the individual concerns. You need to develop these observation skills in order to recognize situations, people's behavior, okay, appreciating differences such as behavior or religion, thought itself, you know, well, results very important for our, let's say, interaction with other people and with different ways of thinking. Well, respect is something we developed since the beginning, our education, you know, and even at home. But when we're learning languages, we usually focus more on the diversity around the world. So you become a little bit more sensitive, you know, and you know, it's not about tolerance, but it's about understanding. Because tolerance has got a different connotation for linguists. You know, you need to stand something which might be unpleasant for you, but rather than that, you understand it, you know, and you become more patient because, you know, it's different from your background, you know, and you start meeting up people from all walks of life, and you discover that there are different ways of thinking, and what languages provide with such diversity of thought. So we have 4 different tips for cultural diversity, for understanding the L2, for understanding another culture. Now, I'm gonna show you some videos. They are gonna be really short, and after that, you will have a task, okay? You will have to carry out a task for homework. I'm gonna show you these videos. Wait a second. I think it's gonna be faster. Yeah, it's loading. It's gonna be really short, eh? share my screen. Screen. Not a screen, but screen. There it goes. The volume is really low, but anyways.
Gestures around the world. Greetings differ depending on cultures. In Mali, West Africa, they kiss each other's hands. In Turkey, it's a way of bargaining. And in America, a firm classic handshake is important.
75, 120, 150.
Are you there? Uh-oh. There was a problem again, right? Are
Yeah,
you there?
but the video paused.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize to you. I did my best. I really did. Well, they were videos about differences around the world. You could surf the net, go to YouTube, and look for cultural diversity videos from HSBC. It's a bank, HSBC. I'm not, promoting or fostering the bank at all. No. But it's it's very interesting to see how local knowledge has impact on people, and of course on us language learners. You will find, very fun videos, from England, Mexico, Germany, France, China, Japan, and how these cultural differences should be prevented. You just surf the net there, go to YouTube and look for cultural diversity videos, HSBC, and you will see a couple of them. Okay, they are really interesting. You have got homework. Yeah, we are running out of time. I'm gonna share the links with you anyways. There will be there to Emino's section. You will present the following information of a country. English is spoken in those countries. Those countries have got English as a commonality. You need to include the official language or languages, currency, capital city, pronunciation and spelling characteristics of the country, idioms and slang used in that territory, behavior, traditions, lifestyle, job opportunities if possible, food, music, sports, and universities which might offer a BA in languages, whether modern languages or English or related areas. At the end of your presentation, include one activity for the audience to check whether they understood everything about the country. Okay, a very short task, for them to do it online. Remember that your video is going to be online just like the previous one. The countries we are to explore are Jamaica, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, the United States, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. You need to work in trios because we are 29 people. Okay, you need to work in trios, and we will do it in the following manner. Okay, you need to get together and work collaboratively. The instructions of the presentation can be found on Eminus. Jamaica, okay, Jamaica is gonna be worked out by, let me check. I'm gonna give you the name. It has to be randomly, you know, because there's no other way to organize the teams. Wait, I'm checking the list. Checking it. Okay. Jamaica, it's gonna be Patricia, Carolina Alba, and Harim Bustamante. Okay. Next one, Australia, Darinel Joval, Victor, and Ariadna Dominguez Dawson. New Zealand, Jose Dominguez, okay, Jose Adrian, Alfredo Dominguez, and Jimena Galan, okay, Jimena Galan, because we have two different Jimenas, Jimena Galan. South Africa, Jose Alejandro, Alondra Giselle, and Jimena Huerta. Such a creative person, Jimena Huerta, very well. Okay, nice team. Canada, Camila Atsiri and Minerva Edith. Okay. Then we have Canada, right? Canada? Yeah, Canada. Maria del Carmen, Cielo, Irving Alexis. The United States, Jose Martinez, Mauricio Ortega, and Rafa, okay? England is going to be Jesus Pozos, Africa, and Milton Mauricio Salgado, okay? Scotland, it's going to be Nisa Rindani, okay? Nisa, Ruby, Cindy, and Josue Ladislao. And Ireland is going to be carried out by Ana Lucia and Alejandra, okay? Wales, well, Wales can wait, you know, can wait for, maybe I can go for that video and I can upload it so that you can watch it. The instructions can be found on YouTube. I'm gonna share with you the instructions for your presentation and the rubric. Everything is there, you know, very well organized. Well, as far as I remember. Just need to go to evaluations. You go to evaluations and you will find here presentation 2, culture diversity. You will have until December 29th, which is next Tuesday. So you have plenty of time. Here you have what you need to include in your presentation. You already know the country that you need to work on, the instructions, the rubric, the evaluation criteria, and well, if you have any question, you can let me know, of course. You need to upload the link of your presentation there for me to watch it and grade it. Please ask your questions.
You said December 29? All right.
29 or 39? Digo, 31.
We are gonna be on holiday in December.
What?
Thank you for that. It's November.
It's for December the 1st.
No, well, if you check Eminus again, you will see the dates. Let me share with you the screen again. The dates are here. Check. Ah, well, I made a mistake. Oh my, well, thank you
Yeah, that's why we are a little
for
bit
letting
confused
me know.
because
Hold on.
What?
I made a mistake. It will be fixed. Wait. Hold on. Okay, I'm sharing with you this. No, doesn't work. Wait. Huh? It's not December. No, it's November. You will see the calendar now. The calendar. Where's the calendar? Shit. Under these conditions, I can't really do it. You were right. It's December the 1st. December the 1st. Does that sound good to you? December the 1st. It's Tuesday. Okay, there you have it. Tuesday, December the 1st. Okay, check it again. Tuesday, December the 1st. It's gonna be saved and sound. Check it again. Well, I don't know why I made that mistake, but it's been already saved. Hold on. Wait a sec, it's loading. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, it's been fixed. Here it is. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Does anybody have another question?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Sorry for the question, but not very some minutes before you were assigning the teams, my electricity went off, so I couldn't hear on what team I am.
Don't worry. We will check it again.
Okay, thank
Or
you.
you could watch the video. Wait. Here I have everybody. Okay, Rafa, you're going to work with Mauricio and with Jose Miguel Martinez.
All right.
Okay. Does anybody have a question? Please? No?
Now, we're all set.
Well, thank you for your time then. Have a lovely morning. Have a lovely week. Remember to investigate this land. And next time we'll check learning strategies, I think. We will check learning strategies and of course the insights into your videos, your presentations. Okay? Sorry for the constraints, but that's gonna be, you know, the dynamic from now on. I can't help it. I paid a lot of money and it doesn't work. So, but I just ask you to be patient, please, and well, everything will be okay. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Have a lovely breakfast, and we keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.